The reason that we have order of operations is so that everybody gets the same answer. And the order of operations goes like this: parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. There's a special little catch with multiplication and division, and that is that these will go from left to right, L to R. And that same thing is true of addition and subtraction, so the same rule applies there. And what I mean by that, you'll see in a second when we get to some example problems. I'm going to explain a little bit better than I can explain it with words. But if you have multiplication and division in the same problem, whatever you read first, just like if you were reading a book, whatever's on the left-hand side first is what you do first. So if division is there first, you do division first. If multiplication is there first, then you do multiplication. And the same is true of addition and subtraction. So if addition is there first, you do that first. If subtraction is there first, you do that first. But regardless, you always do parentheses first. You always do exponents second. This can be either 3 or this can be 3. So I'll put a 3 here and I'll put a 3 here. It could be third or it could be third for division. And then these are like the 5th and 6th steps. So this could be 5 and this could be 5, assuming that you have all 6 of these things in a problem. Let's try some examples. That'll probably clear any confusion up that you might have. So the directions just say solve, and when it says solve, it just means use the operations given and figure out the answer. When you figure out the answer, you don't use an equal sign. These are called numerical expressions. They just use numbers and operation signs. So we don't use equal signs anymore. So the first thing I'm going to do, you remember with PEMDAS, it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. The first thing that we do on this problem will be multiplication. So I go 10 times 7 first. That's 70. And just do it one step at a time. Don't try to do more than one step because that's where you'll make your most mistakes. Now we have 81 minus 70. If you have to do that out separately on the side, you can do that. If you can do it mentally, that's okay too. Like I said, no equal sign, so we're left with 11 for our answer. Alright, this time the directions just say evaluate. It means the same thing as solve. So it's 6 and then in parentheses 4 plus 5. Now they don't show it here, but this is something that you're going to have to get used to. Whenever there's parentheses and a number and no operation sign in between there, what they're looking for you to do is to multiply. So it's 6 times and then inside parentheses 4 plus 5. So if you want to rewrite these, if it helps you to see it that way, you can do that. Otherwise, you can do it right from where the black is right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is parentheses. Don't be fooled just because there's multiplication and addition that you think you have to do multiplication first. Do the parentheses first. So 4 plus 5 is in there, and that's going to be a 9. And then 6 is left, so 6 times 9 would give us 54 for a final answer. And again, it's a numerical expression. You don't use equal signs. This next one says simplify. Simplify, evaluate, solve. They all mean the same thing. They want an answer. So remember, this says plus minus plus. With these addition and subtraction signs, I told you right on the first slide here, we go left to right. So we're going to go left to right on this problem. So the first thing on the left-hand side is a plus sign. So I'm going to write down the answer to 21 plus 3, which is 24. Now I have minus 7 plus 8. What do I do next? Now, you're thinking to yourself addition because addition is first in PEMDAS, but remember it's left to right. So I'm going to do the minus sign first because these are equal weight, addition and subtraction. So 24 minus 7 is 17, and I can now do the plus 8. And when I have one operation left, that's pretty simple. It's 25. Just to illustrate that point about how important it is to do these in order, I'm going to do them in the wrong order and show you that your answer will be just a little bit different. So again, we get 24 minus 7 plus 8. Now if I made that mistake of adding here, and instead of going left to right, I said I'm going to use the order of PEMDAS, because that's the thing we use to remember that. Watch what happens. I get 15, and then I have a 24 minus 15. So my answer here, when you do that out, will be 9. So you get a different answer. And like I said, with order of operations, we want to get the same answer. We want everybody to get the same thing. That's why it's important to follow that rule. Go left to right. This last one here is a doozy. It's a challenge for you. You've been dying for a challenge. These things have been way too easy the whole time. So let's try out a challenge here. 36 minus 3 plus 5 squared divided by 4 times 3. That's a lot of information. Wow. All right, let's start with the parentheses. That's what comes first. Now there's two operations inside the parentheses. There's this plus sign, and then there's this exponent. What do you think comes first? Just use PEMDAS again. Exponents that comes before addition. So I'm going to write this one step at a time. 25, and then I'm going to rewrite the rest of it. Okay, I'm still following PEMDAS. And so what comes next? Well, we still have parentheses here, so I've got to do that, and then copy the rest of it. And as I'm writing this, you're probably noticing my writing is getting messier than the computer's writing. So that's a critical thing you got to remember. Always write as neat as you can. It's tough for me to write on this computer program, but if you keep your writing neat, you'll avoid silly errors. And you don't want that to happen when you go through all the trouble of figuring this problem out. So we've done P, that's gone. There's no exponents here. The next thing is the M. And there's also a D. Remember, you got to go left to right with multiplication and division. So what comes first here, left to right, it looks like it's division. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. Copy the rest. All right, now it's pretty straightforward. A minus sign and then a multiplication sign. I'm going to do the multiplication sign first. And I'm left with 36 minus 21, and the answer there would be 15.